Hey everyone, Hobo for Craft, aka MrHobo here, and I'm gonna be showing you Zerg players how to stop an early aggression versus a Terran player. And this can come in a couple of forms. This can come in a 4 Marine Hellion push, which is becoming surprisingly a lot more popular, because you can deal with that queen and a few Zerglings if you micro very well. Or it could just be a reactor switch with a factory so that you can double pump out Hellions. And I'm just going to say right up front, one of the most important things to do is scout. Excuse me, one of my friends online probably should have went on DND, but that's alright. So I'm going to be going a pretty standard build here on Steps of War, which is a smaller map. I'm going to be going Extractor at 14 into a spawning pool at 13, and then Hatchery at 14. The reason for this, getting the Extractor a little bit before your pool allows for you to get metabolic boost at a very nice time. And sorry for those sounds. I'm in vent right now. Oh, I think I'm in the AFK channel. Well, I hope I am. Oh, jeez. But right there, I was able to pick off an SCV, which is always nice. And just scout around. Make sure you get back here. See what kind of refinery action is going on. Just to point something out, if you see a really early Barax with a tech lab and a really early refinery, you're gonna expect Reapers. You're gonna expect Reapers, which are pretty not as effective on this map, though they do very well on this cliff right here because the mineral line's right next to it. Not so much in the main. So just throw a spine crawler in this general area if you see that. But a little bit of a tangent. So yeah, make sure you scout in the back of the base, which I don't think I did this game, but I saw a normal timing back here, so I felt pretty safe. And yeah, just gonna start this back up. You can see I did go for that 14 pool after 14 gas. And basically, right as my spawning pool went up, you guys, you see I do have that 100 gas, which is key. And then after you get that 100 gas, you pull your drones back onto minerals because you're not going to be needing that gas anytime soon. Like I said, the most important thing to do in this matchup, very important in any matchup honestly, but always scout because you really want to know what is going on. And this is key right here. This is what I see. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I see. I saw this reactor going down and I saw a factory. Though I didn't see what's back here. Barracks. Oh my gosh, it's barracks, as I've been told a couple times now. So I'm going to stick to barracks. It's a bear with many racks. What am I talking about? But yeah, I did see the reactor in the factory. So instantly I know, okay, he's double pumping out Hellions. And pretty soon here, I'm going to be throwing down a spine crawler. And okay, maybe not right now, but go back to scout again because I want to make sure he's not going a 1-1-1 type of build. If I did see that, I would need to put up a couple more queens in reaction because I don't want Vikings running around my bases sniping everything off, which is just terrible. Pretty soon here, gonna put down that spine crawler. Here we go. And you want to okay, I'm gonna rewind so I can maybe catch that a little bit, but I'm terrible with this whole, oh wow, yeah, I'm terrible. Maybe here? Maybe here? Okay, forget it. But I put the spine crawler in an area where there's only a little tiny gap right here. But the important thing is that I have it just so it's on the edge of the ramp right here, where if a Hellion tries to go up here, he is going to get hit no matter what. Meanwhile, I can have my Zerglings over here when they are going to get that metabolic boost, because like I said, it's almost finished. Look how quickly into the game we are. About 5:30 when the Hellions are just arriving, I am getting that speed. So very important to get that timing down. And yeah, I will be able to have my Zerglings over here if need be because of that metabolic boost. So just saturating things. It's important to keep a fine balance between saturating your minerals and pumping out units. Like I've said many times before, Zerg is a very adaptive race, so you have to know what your opponent is doing right here. I want to state something right here. I'm trying to. That sounds really official, but it's not that important. But two queens do in fact block off a ramp. Although I didn't want to throw down a tumor and then bring my queen over here, this game I wanted to just be very offensive with Zerglings. Because I saw he did go a couple more Marines than you normally would. Normally you'd only get one. So I was expecting maybe he was going to pump out a lot of Marines as well, so I wanted more Zerglings rather than using just my queens. But yeah, two queens do block off a ramp, and it's nicer on when on maps when your ramp is closer to base for your queens, such as Lost Temple or Metalopolis. Those are right around the corner. So yeah, just want to let you Zerg players know that. And right when he's about to get here, he's going to see that the spine crawler is going up, so he's going to be a lot more careful. And I'm blocking with my Zerglings, keeping. You don't have to like actually like block it all out and like hold position. Just get in an area like this, because then if he goes up, your Zerglings will instantly surround. And now I'm pretty confident. So like I said, I'm keeping a fine balance between drones and Zerglings. I want to be offensive, and I want to be able to get rid of all of these Hellions, but I don't want to get behind in minerals. It almost defeats the purpose of an expo. So I see 5 Hellions coming, and I'm kind of like, oh, I'll get some Zerglings roasted before anything else. But you want to stay next to the Spinecrawler because it just does so much. Now, he plays this pretty smartly, I gotta admit, by roasting my Zerglings up onto the ramp. But see, look at that placement. It takes down that, it takes a lot of hits to these Hellions. So very important to get a nice, strong placement here. And right now, it doesn't look too good for me, guys, honestly. I've got, how many, like 12 Zerglings? I've got 11 Zerglings. He has 4 Marines and 5 Hellions. Now, 5 Hellions, in case you guys didn't know, would do very well versus 11 Zerglings, just in case you guys were unaware. But I just wanted to show you how much of a difference just one Spinecrawler and a Queen, of course. I'm not going to forget about you, Queen, can make. Oh, and just as a little heads up, it is always a good idea, especially if you're low on larva or anything, but just always, if you do have the resources, I do at this point, pump out an extra queen, just because you can save up mana for transfusion and get a lot of tumors down. So very important. But look how much damage these two units do. Queen can take a lot of hits. There goes down one Hellion from the Spinecrawler. Queen can take a lot of hits from both Marines and Hellions, and I'm seeing a pretty strong push here, so I'm going to put down another Spinecrawlers. Not going to go crazy with them, but okay. When I saw this push, I definitely should have brought my other queen up, but I was microing over here and macroing instead. I'm pumping out a ton of Zerglings at this point. Gonna go to production. And I'm pumping out 18 Zerglings right now. But, so yeah, I kind of got myself in a funky position here. But one thing you do want to do if Hellions do get in your base, you want to try and surround them with your Zerglings. You can see I already almost took out 2 of these, and it's very important to try to stay on creep. I definitely should have been a lot more proactive about spreading creep, because it's going to come back to haunt me right here. Do pick off the 2 here, a little bit of miss micro, let them run by. And now I'm going to bring my queen over. You can see this is why you want to stay on creep. And because Hellions are just about the same speed as Speedlings. Oh, and I'm going to try and go for a surround here. And right now I don't care if these Zerglings die, because the way I figure it, they're going to take out these Hellions, and that is the main purpose of them at this point right now. But he's been kind of building up this force right here, so it was really important that it did get that other Spinecrawler down. Especially since now I have mana for transfusion, even though it turns out that I won't need to be using it because I wasn't, this wasn't going to go down. But, I mean, like I said, Zerg's very reactionary, and I reacted as quickly as possible, just pumping out a bunch of Zergling, which is what I need to do. You can't just save them for, you know, trying to tech up later. You have to pump out a lot of Zerglings if you need them. I used to be a lot more hesitant about pumping out a lot of units, a lot of low-tech units, because I'm like, or forget that, I need to save up later. But I always found out that it's better to overcommit than undercommit, because if you undercommit, you're going to lose the game. So it's very important to be very Very strong in that sense. And still just scouting right here. I don't see a starport of any kind, so I'm feeling pretty good, but I'm still pumping out a couple queens, I do believe. Uh, no, I still just have the 3. Alright, but yeah, starting to get this tumor up. And notice I do go for a spire. In about 95, no, maybe 90%. But yeah, how accurate is 90% anyway? I'm just throwing off this top of my head. 90% of my games where I have a lead like this, I have an expansion lead, and he's kind of trapped in his base at this point after a fail push. I'm gonna go for a spire. Uh, there's a big reason for this, which you guys will see, is that mutas give you huge map control. Absolutely ginormous map control, and they're so versatile as a unit. They can do many things. They can, one, give you map control like I just stated. They can harass very well mineral lines, but he's going to put up a lot of turrets, so boo on that. They can scout very well. You don't have to go for that overlord speed, but I do believe I go that anyway because I think he's going to be producing Vikings at some point in this game, and I don't want a bunch of my overlords to be picked off. So yeah, they just do a lot. And you can pick off units also, like Hellions, really easily, while not spending all your Zerglings. Kind of a little bit mismicro by me there. But once again, just staying by these spine crawlers, and a little bit of a block goes on there. 2 queens can block a ramp. I was panic mode. I was like, go queens, go! And luckily he got trapped and backed off. But yeah, so these Hellions now, which he committed to hard, still is committing to very hard. Luckily for me, he didn't get that pre-igniter upgrade can't with that reactor, obviously. And now he's going into sort of macro up mode, stick in your base, kind of afraid to expand for a couple minutes, want to build up a lot of units mode. That would be a lot of hyphens if I were to put that into an actual sentence. But I'm building up a lot of Zerglings, and actually I'm going to go, he does see the Spire, so this is when he throws up a buttload of turrets. Which is good as a Terran player if you know there's going to be some sort of air harass. Throw up the turrets, they do so much damage compared to StarCraft 1. Which will deter any sort of air harass unless you have 50 mutas, which I have gone in some games. Maybe 45, I don't, 50 that's a little much, but 45 that's fine. So I see the turrets here and I'm like, ouch, I'm getting out of here after taking a few more unnecessary hits. But I do see the starport. And I do see the medevac, I believe, so I'm like, alright, not going Vikings right now. But I have a bunch of Zerglings against a bunch of Marines and a bunch of Hellions. So, not the best. I'm just going to throw this out there. Not good at all versus Hellions and Marines, because Marines with medevac, they can tank so many Zerglings. So what I do, I tech to Banelings, because I've found that Banelings can be so powerful when massed and used correctly and in a good position, because I've been in a couple games with my friend Quack, who I gave a mean shout out in one of my games. I think it was Damaga versus Jinro. Anyway, a completely irrelevant tangent. Gonna finish this in a little bit. I found that Banelings can be so powerful in a variety of situations. Obviously, against Hellions, they explode instantly to the Banelings' super acid explosion. I was gonna try and think of something witty, but then I panicked. But yeah, and especially against Marines. And it's really important to get the centrifugal hooks, which give you the speed upgrade. But yeah, it could look like this could go either way. All these Hellions will instantly roast all these Zerglings. But the muta count is kind of high and can definitely deal with these Marines if he doesn't micro them well enough. He doesn't have Stimpack just yet. So, and he does have pre-igniter, so I'm definitely backing off my Zerglings and using these mutas to harass. And he says, very smartly, he says, well, that's definitely too many mutas for my Marines to handle, which he's definitely correct. Especially because I do go for that +1 upgrade, which is just about finishing, you should always upgrade the attack of your mutas. If you go mutas, you'll normally have the economy for it because you're going to be on 2